Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of our Whispers of the Old Gods card review. Today we're going to be looking at one weapon and several spell cards. So what we're going to be looking at first is the weapon. It's called Tentacle for Arms. It's going to be a warrior weapon. It costs 5 mana. It's 2 attack and 2 durability. Death Rattle, return this card to your hand. For the mana cost, this card is really expensive for the attack and durability that you get with it. It does return it to your hand for the Death Rattle, but you're having to pay 5 mana again for only 2 attack and 2 durability. So this card is kind of underpowered for the mana cost that comes with it. Even with the warrior upgrade card, which would make it a 3/3, it's still not really worth the mana cost. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of play out of it, but we might see some interesting ideas come out of this card. We're going to move on to our next card, which is going to be called Infest. It's going to be a Hunter spell card. It gives your minions Death Rattle, and the Death Rattle effect is that it adds a random beast to your hand. I could see this played with Unleash the Hounds in the way that when we play Unleash the Hounds, for each minion that is on our opponent's side of the field, it summons a 1/1 hound with charge. So if you're playing against a secret paladin that plays muster for battle, or a warlock that plays implosion and has a lot of imps on their side of the field, you use Unleash the Hounds. It summons a 1/1 with charge for each one of your opponent's minions. And since they have charge, when you combo it with the Infest card, all of your hounds are going to get the Death Rattle effect, which will add a random beast minion to your hand. So each time one of your hounds dies, you're going to get that random beast added to your hand because we played the Infest card on our minions. So each time one of the Unleash the Hounds dies, we're going to get that random minion added to our hand. So I think that Unleash the Hounds is going to couple real well with the Infest card. But we'll see how that card gets played, and we will go and see how people are going to couple this card with other hunter cards that are in their decks. The next spell we're going to look at is going to be Forbidden Flame. It's one of the forbidden spells that has been added to the expansion. Basically what this card does is for the card basically says spend all your mana and deal that much damage to a minion, which basically means, say we play a 5 mana cost card. We're at 10 mana, We play a 5 mana cost card. That leaves us 5 mana left. Basically what this card will do for 0 mana is it will take the remaining 5 mana that we have and it will deal that 5 damage to a minion of our choice. So if we put a 5 mana cost minion down on the field and we have a Sludge Belcher that we're trying to kill that's still at full health, we can use that remaining 5 mana to play the Forbidden Flame card, and it will do the 5 damage to that Sludge Belcher, and all we'll have to deal with now is the 1/2 taunt that it spawns. The next forbidden spell, and the Forbidden Flame is a mage spell card. The next card we're going to be looking at is Forbidden Shaping. Forbidden Shaping is a priest card. It's got a similar effect as Forbidden Flame, except it's applied to a minion instead. Basically, it is a 0 mana cost card. Spend all your mana and summon a random minion that costs that much. So again, say we have 10 mana, we spend 5 of it to summon a 5 mana cost card, and we have 5 mana left over. We play this card, and it will give us a 5 mana random minion that will be put on the field, which means we have a chance to possibly summon a Sludge Belcher, for example, which is a 5 mana cost minion, to be summoned with our remaining mana, because the card says you spend your mana, your remaining mana, and summon a random minion that costs that much. The next card is going to be a Paladin card. It's another forbidden spell. It's called Forbidden Healing. This card, just like all the other cards, you spend all of your mana and it heals you for double the mana you spend. So say we play a Muster for Battle, for example, which is a 3 mana cost card. We get our weapon, we get our 3 1/1s on the field, and we have 7 mana over, and we're really hurting on health. So say we're at 14 health, we play this card, it spends the remaining 7 mana that we have left, and it heals us for 14 health. In my opinion, this will be a really good healing card, depending on how it's used and how much mana you have left. With it being a 0 mana cost card, it can help you in tough situations. If you play a cheap card and you don't have anything else you want to play that turn, but you really, really need that heal, you can play this card, and it basically, as I said before, you spend 7 mana, but you're going to get healed for 14. The next card we're going to be looking at is another Paladin card. It's called Stand Against Darkness. This one is basically going to be a replacement for our Muster for Battle. Because when you play in Standard, they are going to be getting rid of GVG cards. So in Standard, you're not going to be able to play your Muster for Battle like most Paladins do. In Standard, you're not going to be able to play the Muster for Battle, so you're not going to be able to get the weapon and the 3 1/1 Silverhand recruits. Instead, they have come up with this card called Stand Against Darkness, which summons 5 1/1 Silverhand recruits, but you don't get a weapon. So you're getting 5 1/1 Silverhand Recruits for 5 mana. This card you could couple with the Warhorse Trainer, since it came from the Grand Tournament. We're not going to lose this card. So what you could do is you could play Stand Against Darkness, spend your 5 mana, play another minion or taunt that turn. Next turn you could play your Warhorse Trainer, which your Silverhand Recruits gain 1 attack. So your 5 1/1 Silverhand Recruits now have 2 attacks, so they are now 5 2/1 Silverhand Recruits, which would enable you to do 10 damage. Could help you clear your opponent's side of the field. It could help you do extra face damage. It could help you get rid of a big taunt. For example, you could clear a Tyrion off the field, for example. Basically, you would have your 5 2/1s. Tyrion is a 6/6 with Divine Shield. So the first one you use to pop the shield. And then 3 of the others you would use to kill Tyrion. And you would have 1 over to be able to do some face damage or clear another enemy. What you could also do in the Tyrion situation is when you played the Warhorse Trainer, if your deck contains a acidic ooze, you could use the acidic ooze to now get rid of the 5/3 Ashbringer that Tyrion now spawns because we've killed Tyrion. So there's ways that you could couple this card to get rid of big taunts in a quick way if you're able to keep them on the field and they don't die to a simple removal spell like a Flame Strike or a Blizzard. But there are ways that it may be able to be played in the order that I was explaining. You know, you play your Stand Against Darkness, then the next turn you play your Warhorse Trainer to give that extra attack to your Silverhand Recruits. And then if we're taking out, say, Tyrion, for example, if we're playing against another Paladin, we could kill Tyrion in that one turn and then play, if we have an acidic ooze in our hand, we could play that acidic ooze and kill the Ashbringer that spawned from Tyrion's death. So it might work out real well if we're against taunts that have death rattles like that. We'll just have to see how the card plays out. What we're going to look at next is going to be one of the new Warlock spells. It is called Renounce Darkness. Looking at this card, reading the text on it, it says replace your hero power and warlock cards with another class's. The cards cost 1 less. So basically we are getting an effect similar to Sir Finley. I don't think we get a choice in what hero power we're going to get. It's probably going to be completely random, whereas with Sir Finley Murgleton, we're able to discover a new hero power and we're able to choose the hero power that we get. Sir Finley does cost 1 mana. We do discover a new hero power, but with the Renounce Darkness card, it costs 2 mana. It replaces our hero power, completely random. So we could get a Paladin's hero power, We could get a priest hero power, hunter, warlock, or we can't get the warlock one because we already have it. So we could get hunter, warrior, paladin, priest, shaman, rogue, um, and then our warlock cards are replaced with another class's cards. Now I don't know if that counts for the cards that are only in our hand, or if that will also apply it to our deck. So if we have warlock cards in our deck and in our hand, it's going to replace all of those and make them cost one less. Um, the other thing that I'm not quite sure about is if it's going to replace our hero power with, say, the hunter's steady shot, and then it's going to replace our class cards with, say, rogue cards or paladin cards. The only way we're going to be able to find that out is by playing the card. So it's probably going to be a lot of experimentation with this card to see if it's going to couple the hero power and the class cards together, or if it's going to randomize, hey, we're going to get a hunter's hero power and we're going to get priest class cards. We're just going to have to see exactly how that card's going to play out once it comes out, and people are probably going to have to experiment with it. But with the randomization of what class we're going to get, it's going to take some experimenting with to be able to play around the change of hero power and class cards. The last card we're going to look at today is going to be another Warlock card. The card is called Doom. Um, It destroys all minions and draw a card for each. It's a 10 mana cost card, but the only thing about that is it costs 10 mana, and there is another card that Warlocks have that is called Twisting Nether. I'm pretty sure. Let's see here. Yes, it's called Twisting Nether. It basically destroys all minions for 8 mana. So basically our Doom card is 10 mana. It destroys all our minions. It destroys all minions and draw a card for each. Now the Twisted Nether costs 8 mana and it destroys all minions, but you get no card draw. The only other thing that I'm wondering about this card in particular is if it applies to both sides of the field, or if it only applies to our side of the field or our opponent's side of the field. Now, if the text does say destroys all minions and draw a card for each. So if we need a good board clear and our hand's empty, this card could come in real handy. Say I have 3 minions on my side of the field and my opponent has 3 minions on his side of the field. We play this card, and if it works the way we're initially thinking, is it's going to destroy all 6 minions and we're going to be able to draw 6 cards. If it doesn't work that way, if it applies to only our side, then we would only get 3 cards. And if it only applied to our opponent's side, we would only get 3 cards. But since it says all minions, I'm assuming that that means both sides of the field, our side and our opponent's side of the field. So if we destroy 6 minions, then we're able to draw 6 cards. I hope you enjoyed the second part of our look at the one weapon card and the spell cards that have been revealed so far for Whispers of the Old Gods. And don't forget to click that subscribe button and to comment below. and we'll see you guys next time.